Hi, this is CherylAMajor, and I want to welcome you to this edition of the Healthy Eating Club. It is February 2nd, and it is our first of the month call, first monthly call, whatever I mean. It's February 2nd. It's not the first, but you know what I mean. It's the first month. We'll have first call. We'll have 2 calls this month, and we have 2 calls every month. So the other day I emailed out and was talking about how I've been having a really hard time lately with wanting to eat everything in sight. And I got a number of responses back. People saying it's happening to me too. It's happening to me too. So one person suggested it might be, she might have a touch of seasonal affective disorder, a little sad. And that happens to people in the fall and the winter when the days get shorter, we get less light. It can make you feel, sometimes it's called winter blues. So that might have something to do with it. I'm thinking for me, it might be that I live in New England and it's been very, very cold. We've had a lot of below zero, which we usually don't have. I mean, we have single digits every winter, but not like this. This is crazy. This is negative. It's been down to -7, and it's unusual. So I think that's making me kind of blow things up, and I just want to eat all the time. So if you are going through this, I want to have a few suggestions that I share today to see if I can help you with this. And I've been thinking about this since I got the emails back from you all. So I do listen to you. I love it when you hit reply and get back to me. So keep that coming. So here are a few things to help you control your eating. First of all, what you want is not what you should be eating. If you're like me, what you want is carbohydrates, sweets, the things that give you that dopamine rush that make you feel better, give you a little more energy, but then you crash. And not only that, but sometimes you're mad at yourself because you didn't make good choices. So don't go with your first instincts. And I know if you're having a bad day and things are just not as they should be, and you're just feeling a little off, that's a really hard thing to do some days. But my suggestion would be to eat something with some healthy fat and protein, something like a handful of nuts. I have some sprouted pumpkin seeds with sea salt that I've been eating, and I'll put a link to that in the email. When I email out the replay, I'll put a link to that. But they're really good, and you can grab a handful of those. And the salt kind of helps stave off your hunger, helps quell those hunger pangs. And if you have a handful of almonds or a handful of cashews, the healthy fat is a good thing too, and that gives you some protein. So that's a good choice. You know, I've been practicing intermittent fasting for a while, and I have gotten up pretty easily to, I'm not one of these rock stars who can fast for 18 hours and then eat for 6. I fast for 14 and I eat for 12. That's sometimes 15. But that's kind of my top right now. Lately, I'm lucky if I do 12-12. I wake up and I'm hungry. And I don't know about you, but what I want is I want a slice of toast. I want some oatmeal. Oatmeal isn't such a bad choice, but the toast isn't necessarily my best choice. But it's been harder for me to do the intermittent fasting. That being said, I would encourage you to try to keep yourself from eating at night, the snack eating, the late night eating, you know, opening the fridge at midnight kind of thing. If you commit to doing 12-12, 12 hours of fasting and 12 hours of feasting, and see how close you can stick to that. And you know, if you blow it one day, that's one day. Next day, you just start again. And one thing I want you to be sure to understand is there's no failure in this healthy eating club scenario. There's just another day. There's just, okay, that was today, tomorrow's another day, and you start again. Okay, so try the 12-12. Another thing is set a timer. If you're hungry and you want it, or even if you're, okay, here's another thing. I digress, but I do that sometimes. Be mindful about your hunger. And think about, am I really hungry, or did I just finish eating and I still want to eat because I want something to do, I'm bored, I'm cold, it's cold out, I'm not moving enough, whatever. just make sure that you're mindful about your hunger. Be mindful about your hunger and ask yourself, am I really hungry? Keeping a food journal is a really good thing too. And mind the temperature. You know, when you write down how you're feeling and what you ate and all this other stuff, mind the temperature and put the temperature down too. And you'll see if when it gets really cold out, if you're not cued to eat more and more often. We have to have a place to start if we're going to make changes. So incorporate, especially in the winter months, the temperature, and just remind yourself that it was maybe really cold that day. Maybe there was a storm, the barometric pressure was going down, which sometimes can make people who tend to feel depressed a little more depressive, or tend to, the barometric pressure will change your mood, challenge your mood a little bit. So mind that too. If there was a storm, you can make a note of that. It's a good thing to go back and find out what your triggers are and how you respond to them. So again, back to the timer thing. So set a timer and give yourself an hour where you're thinking about eating, but you're not going to eat. And at the end of that hour, if you still want to eat, have something, but try very hard to have that handful of nuts, that handful of cashews or pumpkin seeds, maybe a little piece of fruit, and see if you can manage it that way. But set a timer and give yourself a period when you're absolutely not going to give in. Another thing, celery and carrots with hummus can be your best friend. Did you know that celery actually burns calories? When you eat celery, when you digest celery, it burns calories. There's so much fiber in it. It's largely fiber and water. So celery is a really good thing if you want something to crunch and munch and you don't want something that's going to, pack on the pounds. Carrots are also a good choice. Now they are higher in sugar content. Although the sugar is processed more slowly, the glycemic index is pretty high. The glycemic load is quite low. The glycemic index tells you how much of a bump your glucose is going to get, and the glycemic load tells you how quickly that is going to happen. So it doesn't happen that fast with carrots because there's so much fiber. There's so much to go through and digest and all of that. So carrots can be a good choice too. And if you dip it in hummus, you're going to get some protein, you're going to get some healthy fat. So hummus is always a good choice. Another good choice would be to put a little smear of almond butter on a celery stick or a carrot stick. That's a good choice as well. So a couple of ideas. I've been sipping a lot of hot water. Still pretty warm. I've been drinking a lot of hot water lately, sometimes plain, which some people go, ew, how can you eat plain water, drink plain water? It's actually quite good. It warms you up. It gives you something to do rather than eat. See how I'm playing tricks with my mind here? I have to trick myself to keep myself from reaching for that food that I really don't, I don't need it. I'm not hungry, but I want it. Instead, I'm going to have some hot water. I can also have a cup of tea, black tea, green tea. Although I've been avoiding caffeine. So I go for the hot water. Sometimes I put a piece of lemon or lime or even a squeeze of orange in my hot water, and it makes it interesting and pretty. And get yourself a mug, a cup that you like, that you'll enjoy drinking from, that's special for you. So those are some ideas about eating controls, or some ideas to help you control your eating. And when I send this out, if you have any other suggestions, please hit reply and email me back and let me know what your thoughts are, what your ideas would be, and we'll share them with everybody else. And we'll just be a community that helps us eat healthfully to feel and be well mentally and physically. So I hope these suggestions help. This is CherylAMajor with the Healthy Eating Club. Stay warm, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.